Okay.
So we said we would take the 29th. He could make the 29th, and now we have to pick another date, and hopefully Henry can make. Well, actually, I think what we said on the second one, then depends how the first one goes. We may be able to wing the second one ourselves.
Without the
Henry can make it fine. If he can't.
Okay. Did he? I can't remember. Did he give us any other available dates?
I don't recall.
I don't think I remember
I think
seeing.
just the two dates that we gave him. He could only do the 29th.
Okay. So does anyone have any strong preferences in April for the Wednesdays that are options?
Can you pull up the calendar so we can
Yeah.
see what's on the calendar?
Next one. So it looks like the 5th or the 12th, Wednesday. We want to stick with Wednesdays.
Why not? Anyone have strong preferences between the 5th and the 12th?
I would prefer the 5th, so I don't have back-to-back meetings, but it's not.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Is there? I mean, I know having the two public hearings is the protocol. Is there any advantage to spacing them out more? Or do you think there's something that's going to come from the first hearing that we would need to regroup for and want? You know what I mean? To push it later, or
There's always a possibility something might come up that
Yep.
Causes us to scramble, but I
Yep.
really doubt it.
Sure. Well, so then maybe we schedule for the 5th and then revise if needed. Yeah. I think the 5th makes sense to me. Anyone have an issue with that? Okay. Let's go ahead and go with the 5th then. Will you check with the, do you have to check with the council to make sure that that's okay? Or with
No,
Wendy?
it's currently empty on the calendar.
Okay.
Although,
Seems like
shouldn't that be the town council should have a
Yeah.
the 5th? Why it's not in there?
Well, there's one the day before, maybe.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't
On
it
the
on the
fourth?
19th?
Why did?
Isn't that why that's popped up right there?
Yeah, the town council has one
See
on the
how it's-
19th.
They meet twice a month. No, and usually it's one Wednesdays.
Oh.
So, yeah, you might want to check that. Otherwise, I would suggest maybe we should move it to the 12th or the 26th.
Wait, but doesn't it say they're meeting on the 4th and the 19th? Isn't that
I know,
right?
but they don't typically meet on a Tuesday.
No, we meet. The town council meets on the first and third Wednesdays of the month.
Huh.
So probably an error. That was
Okay.
probably put
Well,
there by
and
accident.
and they got an 8 p.m. Unless something has come up. And I haven't heard of
So
it.
I think maybe we should let Joe check that.
Sure.
Because maybe there's some other conflict that's causing them to move from the 5th.
Which you'd think would be on
Yeah.
the calendar.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
Check that and maybe check Henry's availability. I'm sure the group could do it without Henry, but he's such an asset. It
Yeah.
would be nice to
If we
have
don't need to.
to field questions. And,
Why
yeah,
would we?
he's such a brain. Right?
Is
It's a well
Joe, if we do it before that council meeting on the 19th, is that when it's on the calendar? I can't see because it's covered up. Yeah, the 19th. Does that mean once we fulfill the two public hearings that the council then can take the next action?
I have to create like a resolution that says, okay, the town council approves this plan that
Right.
we're doing. Steve likes to review that before we actually present that resolution, and I'm sure he'll want to take a look at the actual document itself in more detail, the energy plan, to make sure that there's nothing that we're committing the town to. So my gut feeling is, once we have our two public hearings and we create the resolution and give it to the town council or to the town manager, that Steve will then schedule it with the town council, but probably wouldn't be any time quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we probably don't know how long is that going to be.
I one of the things I'm going to stress to him is, I've actually already done this, is started working on it, taken some excerpts out of the document, the energy plan, and it specifically says, like at the bottom of the energy plan, says, this does not commit the town to anything, blah, 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 blah. By giving him and the town council the cutouts out of that document, might make it a little easier for them to kind of like pass it through. But again, I'm sure he's going to want to take a look at the document in detail just to make sure that it doesn't commit the town to anything. So, my gut feeling is, maybe the second one in April, but I doubt that. Probably, the first or second town council meeting of May, that would be realistic.
All right.
Okay. And there's also, too, there'll be the first reading of it, and then the second reading.
Right, yeah, no, it'll take at least a month to move it through.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so we've settled on April 5th,
Tentatively.
tentatively.
Once
I'll
you
find
check
out what's
with
going
the-
on. It could be because they may be moving at the chair and another member of the town council are retiring. So he may have set something up for that Tuesday to honor them.
Okay. Well, once we have that information and also maybe Henry's availability for April, we can regroup if we need to.
Yep.
That's just fine.
Do we want to tentatively schedule April 12th? Just in case something comes up and the 5th is not available?
You mean just block it off on
Like
our
the
calendars?
date.
Yeah, I think that's probably
Is
wise.
everybody okay
Yeah.
with that? April 5th, primary. April.
Back up. Awesome. Okay. So anything else we need to discuss regarding the public hearings? Either of them?
For the second one, no, the first one was just to be a reminder to
Sure.
everybody that
Mhm.
next Wednesday is. It'd be good if you can show up. Everybody can show up to kind of like support it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's anything else needed of us, like actively during the forum?
No, I've asked Henry a couple of times, are you all set? Are you all set?
Do you need anything
And
else? Yeah.
he said he's all set, so
Okay.
I'm sure he's got his PowerPoint and we'll just kind of present that.
Okay. Sounds
I'm
great.
out of town next week, so but I'll be at the April one.
Okay. Sounds great. And that begins at 7, just to.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So I think we can move on from 4 and 5. 6 expiring terms for both Sarah and I, and Ruth as well. Ruth, are you renewing for the next term, or are you?
I'm expiring.
You are expiring. Okay.
Sounds fatal.
Just from the committee.
You might want to rephrase that.
You never know.
We don't want that.
Well, that's not on the agenda. So, is there anything else we need to?
No, it's just a reminder, and hope if anybody wants to, rethink it, please do.
I do know that Ellen mentioned that there are 2 others that she's spoken with that are applying, so that's great. We'll add some numbers, or recover some numbers, I suppose. But it's been great to serve with all of you. And I'm also not clear, is it through April, or is
It, your term expires at the beginning of April, now whether it's April 1st or whatever. So
yeah, I don't
theoretically,
think I know that.
by April 5th, you guys are.
Yeah, I think that's right. At the end of this month,
Okay.
usually the election this month.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Do either of you have anything you want to say or any questions? Not to put you on the spot if you don't.
No, but I just echo your thanks. It's been great to meet everyone and a cool experience, very eye-opening to learn about how things operate at the town level. I would encourage anyone who wants to participate to step up, and
I'm ready.
and I'll stay tuned into the work, and I'll definitely plan to be at the public hearing in April just
Yeah.
as a community member in support of, and so I'll be watching things closely. And
I agree. I learned a lot, and now when I see these words in the paper or on the news, I know what they're talking about.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. I feel the same way about both of you. Okay. Anything else we so Earth Day is our next item on the agenda. And Joe, do you have something to share with us?
No, it's up to the group. What do we want to do for Earth Day, or is there something? Earth Day is April 20th. Yeah, or April 22nd, Saturday, April 22nd.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, I don't know. Ellen had some ideas of getting grocery bags or whatever. But don't think we have enough time, and we don't have any money. So
one way to maybe pursue that, when I was a trustee for the library, there had been a group there that met and sewed canvas bags, and I think gave them to local businesses to just freely distribute to encourage not using plastic. So I reached out to Joan, who's still a trustee at the library, to see who that group was, and I think it was Tony Weinstein, who'd been involved in that. And so if Ellen were here, I would ask her if she wanted me to reach out to that group to see if they still have materials or would like to contribute to this effort. So I'm happy to still pursue that if we want to go that angle, but I don't know.
yeah.
Okay.
Where would we hand them out?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Patrick, I feel like you raised the Earth Day idea. Do you
Yeah,
have
well,
a bigger
those
vision?
bags I think were given out at either the library or maybe they had them here at Town Hall.
Okay.
They've often had stuff like that to
Yeah.
give out. So yeah, if you
I'll just,
so
I don't know what came of that effort, so I don't know if they're still material or if they're still grouping and
you could
producing
you
them.
could check with Tony to see if she knows.
Okay, I'll reach out.
Better do it this month before she retires.
Yeah, I know. That's really sad. She's retiring.
I'm sure she'd help you out, but I think her email will no longer be
Oh, right.
the town email after
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But maybe the Conservation Commission's doing something. Julie, are they doing anything for Earth
Yeah,
Day?
so I was going to mention the Conservation Commission has a work day set up. If you are interested, you can sign up on Nature Groupie to support the Conservation Commission. They are building 55 feet of bridge
Wow.
over at,
Is it on the cell
Um,
trails or?
no, where
Is that Wigan Farm?
I think Wigan Farm, yeah. Yep, Wigan Farm Workday, April 22nd, 9 to 1. There's a Nature Groupie sign up. I can pass it along to the email list for this group if you're interested. I unfortunately have to work, or else I would be there. We had a lot of fun. Last time I did a day in the woods with them, putting in signposts. And I believe we'll be doing some invasive removal as well. So just a way to get out and support the other commission that is kind of related to us if you want to come out.
Bring your own clippers, that kind of thing.
We have plenty of materials if you want to bring some in your car. Yep, but definitely wear long pants and closed-toed shoes and sleeves.
Gloves too.
Gloves, yes, your own gloves.
Yeah, they'll have some. They usually have good tools there, but
Mhm.
if you have like lighter ones or something, but yeah, they do a lot of things that pull out the roots of the invasives. That's kind of what you have to do to get rid of them.
And when you say the bridge, is that lifting like 500 pounds of?
No, it'll be boards and putting together. It's 55 feet of boardwalk, or 50 feet of boardwalk to improve the trailhead that begins with a short bridge across a wetland. Volunteers will help clear invasive plants around trailside, interpretive signs, and reset and clean signposts, other trail and roadside cleanup, and other invasive plant removal as time permits. So kind of like a spring cleanup.
Can you give me a general where that is?
Wigan Farm is on
Grant Road.
Grant Road, right? Yeah.
Oh,
so you
okay.
take a left, and it's just that big open field as you come up.
So
kind
we're
of go down the hill. And
near the transfer station at all?
I'll pull up a map and show you.
Yeah, it's so if you do you know where Grant Road is?
Yeah.
So if you went down here and got on Grant Road, you're going to
Brick
go.
Grant.
What's that? Grant.
Grant, okay.
Grant Road. You're going to go. I would say it's like 3 miles maybe down Grant Road. It's quite a ways down there, and it's on the right. There is a parking lot there.
Okay.
It's a big field. It's almost 100 acres of open meadow.
Oh.
It was a farm that we bought in Newmarket like 22 years ago, I think.
It's
Yeah.
just after that guy with all the
Literally
flags
just
and
3
signs
minutes
at
from-
his house.
Yeah, there's,
It's a good
yep,
marker.
yep.
Yeah, there's Ashland.
Just on it. Grant,
Grant.
just the owner, okay.
So
I think Doe Farm Road is, if you hit Doe Farm Road, you've gone too far.
Gone too far, yes. Yep. So I wonder
Past the
whether
tree farm.
it might make sense for us to like spend our energy amplifying efforts that are already happening on Earth Day. Not to try to get anybody out of extra work, but I know that there are probably several things going on that are worthwhile. So I wonder if we just sort of assemble a list of a list of Earth Day activities, ways you could get involved, and we blast that out. Like that might be worth doing. I don't know.
My opinion is, yeah, given the fact that it's only like 4 weeks away, and we kind of like dragged our feet on
Sure.
this.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you can come through with something.
But even that would be great, like to give them out at this event.
Yeah.
So instead of
Just
it being a
as
standalone thing.
an add-on.
Yeah, I agree. Like
Okay.
time is short. Let's like help something that's already in motion.
Yeah, and I'm happy to assemble a list of events that are already happening, and then maybe I can send those to you, Joe, and you know the channels to
Yeah.
release them to.
Yeah, we can post them, have Tim post them. And,
Okay.
It seems
so
like
the Energy and Environment Committee supports these.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah. I can make a nice little flyer with links and maybe even a QR
So
code
will it be on
we
the
can include.
website?
That sounds like a plan to me.
The town
Okay.
website? Okay.
Anyone
What-
else have any other, Patrick? do you have
I can't think of anything else. I think those are, like you said, just doing other activities or doing part of what the Conservation Commission's already organized is probably makes the most sense.
Okay, great. Then I'll make sure to work on that. I'll try to get that done this weekend, and I can send it over to you.
And that's right on the
You know, I wonder one thing that we could do that's specific to us, depending on how the public hearings go about the community power. We could at least do sort of a social media share out from this group about any progress that's been made on those, or even like sharing that article, the WMUR article about community power in New Hampshire, just to help spread
Sure.
that messaging.
It is my intent to put that article along
great.
with advertising the public hearing.
Yeah.
It was kind of like waiting
All right.
towards the end. It seems to work better if you
Yeah,
get
so it stays
closer to
fresh.
that day as
Yeah.
opposed to
Yep.
Well,
do it a
and,
week
and
before.
if we're doing like a list of things you can do locally for Earth Day, then we could easily include that there as well. So
Yeah.
a little bit of
I just
repetition.
feel like this does go the way we hope. The more people are hearing about it,
Yeah,
and so that they're not just surprised. you know,
100%. Absolutely.
The better.
Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts on Earth Day? before we go?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Okay, great. So I think we'll move into our working session on the master plan.
Okay. Okay, if I run the.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Please.
Okay, so this is the section for the town master plan that deals with energy. At our last meeting, we had kind of gone through the initial vision statements, and we made it through the first part, or section 3 of the up to section 3 of the actual chapter that's related to the energy for the master plan. So we actually approved this part here, energy objectives for the town of Newmarket. The energy chapter of Newmarket Master Plan was conceived to increase the understanding of current energy consumption and provide the guidance required to reduce dependence on non-renewable fuel, lower greenhouse gas emissions, reduce energy costs, provide opportunities to incorporate clean, renewable energy sources into the community of Newmarket. The overall objective is to reduce the town's carbon footprint and to increase the town's energy security. This is accomplished through establishing a town policy of energy-conscious decision-making in every phase of the municipal operation in capital improvements, and by encouraging businesses and residents to do the same. In support of this objective, on July 20, 2022, the Newmarket Town Council adopted Resolution 2021/2022-37, pertaining to sustainable energy goals. Resolution 2021/2022-37 calls for aspiring to achieve 100% reliance on renewable and carbon-neutral sources of electricity by the year 2030, and 100% reliance on renewable and carbon-neutral sources of fuel for heating and transportation by 2050. So I think everybody was okay with that one. Okay. So the next three, 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3, deal with energy profiles within Newmarket. 3.1 deals with the energy profile of residential and commercial Newmarket properties, and we just got the 2022 information from Eversource. So I've deleted this whole chart and added this chart, but let's see if we're okay with the wording here first here. The technology, equipment, and techniques to drastically reduce energy use are becoming more readily available for our buildings, street lighting, and transportation. By reviewing all municipal decisions for energy efficiency and sustainability, Newmarket will not only reduce its operating expenses and lower its greenhouse gas emissions, but would also set an example for residents and business owners. The table below shows the average annual number and annual electric usage of Newmarket customers who receive electricity delivered by Eversource for the year ending 2022. I don't know, how do you guys feel about the wording of that? Again, this particular paragraph is related to showing the current status of energy utilization for residential electric utilization for residents and commercial.
I like it. I have no problem with it.
Seems
You're
pretty
editing out that
straightforward to me.
repetitive, yeah, you crossed out that last little part, right? That
And it's intentional that it's
by
focused
Eversource.
on the reduction, not on source. Like that first sentence, the techniques to drastically reduce energy use. That's intentional. Like we're just talking about usage here. Okay. It sounds great to me. I just want to make sure that was intentional, not just that we're overlooking
Okay,
the
so
source.
we're okay with this?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yep.
So here's a chart again. Shows the commercial, residential, and outdoor lighting for 2022 and 2020 and 2022. If we're good enough, maybe we can update this on an annual basis. We do have to send a letter to the Public Utilities Commission, who then gets it from Eversource to send to us.
How long did that take to get that information?
I was quite surprised that it was like we got it back like within a month.
Oh.
It was a little bit more than a month.
Much faster than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
Great.
And since Eversource is the one that currently delivers it, it not only includes Eversource customers, but it also includes Direct Energy or the other suppliers.
Okay.
Oh, you might want to put that in there then, Joe. Did you put that in there? Okay.
Information supplied by
Okay,
Eversource
good,
includes
good,
other energy
because that might be,
sources.
yeah, that's good for them to see that. They might not, they might think that it doesn't include those people.
Yeah.
3.2 is the energy profile of municipal facilities. I have not actually gotten this information from the town. Hopefully we can get that information. Although the energy used in municipal operations is fairly small compared to that of the residential and commercial sector, Newmarket municipal facilities can lead by example and reduce the energy used in its buildings and operations, outdoor lighting, and vehicle fleet. Energy improvements will save taxpayer dollars, will create a model for businesses and residents to adopt, and will help to create infrastructure needed for certain technologies to be viable, and will help to create the infrastructure needed for certain technologies to be viable. I'm not sure what we meant by that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the sentence, but I do, I'm like,
What does it mean?
It makes sense to me. It
Energy
just,
saving technologies or something like that.
well, isn't it just saying that by taking action, the government will sort of spearhead the development of or the necessity for certain technologies? I don't know.
for me, it hinges on create, we'll help create infrastructure for certain technologies to be viable, instead of, the spirit of the paragraph before is like that we're modeling good behavior, like demonstrating it, but that sentence is so specific about that we're like actually creating something. I think we should know exactly what we mean and be able to offer an example if we're going to include that
I think the
language.
certain
Fair enough.
technologies is too
So
unclear.
the intent is here, I guess, is to say, like you said, municipal facilities can be a leader,
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
and they should adopt these things.
So create demand for certain technologies? Is that more in the spirit of what you're trying to say?
I don't know. You guys tell me how you want to work.
Would demonstrate the
Yeah.
infrastructure?
Demonstrate
It
the
feels like
need
that
for
help to
the-
demonstrate the. I mean, the need is demonstrated, but it's like more demonstrating the possibility or the how to implement
which is the
energy
model.
saving technologies.
That's part of that create a model. So that
Yeah.
maybe we just don't need that last.
I feel like run a line through it, and like either you're.
just the
It's
last,
just saying it's taking responsibility for something that I don't know that we're prepared to do.
just after the and.
Yeah. Yes. It's you just.
Just and will help to create the infrastructure. Just that piece.
Just get rid of all that.
I would,
And then
yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I mean, unless we know, have an example of it, it'd be great if we.
and then just add an and before will. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something.
Energy improvements will save taxpayer dollars and will create a model for businesses and residents to adopt. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's fine.
And what
Yeah,
about
if you
the-
had an example, you could say, for example, if the town hall, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's
or-
creating
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But
Further down, we do talk about some stuff that the wastewater people have done to
okay.
save energy. But
Well,
So that could be a spot for it, or you reference it there, or.
yeah, when we get down there, we might say
it might
it makes
clarify.
more sense to go put up
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Okay.
But what about this last sentence here? Over a period of years, community energy profiles can offer a long-term.
I don't think it's a nice thing to say, but again, this is sort of a planning document, so it's not very prescriptive, or it's just sort of generally thrown in there. I don't think it's something that is going to go anywhere, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, so I think the paragraph ought to end with
Yeah.
adopt.
Yep,
Yeah.
just end there. Yep.
It's like a new thought. It's less related
Yeah.
to the rest of the previous paragraph.
It probably doesn't make sense to be super prescriptive in this document.
It-
Because
I agree.
it'll
It's
just
kinda
get
like,
struck.
That sounds right to me. Yeah.
A vision of what we,
It's exactly, it's an
guideline.
outline, it's more of an outline than it is like a direct how to do something.
Yeah, we want to give them principles they can't possibly disagree with, rather than some details that they can, fight over, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something in there.
So I think this is doing a good job of that.
If I can get information similar to this for the municipal buildings, I'll include that. If I don't get that, do we just end it there with that statement, or is there something else to?
No, it's a good, strong statement.
Yeah, I think it could stand on its own. I mean, I think if you included a chart of current use, it'd almost be more useful if you contrasted it with a chart of projected savings, to make it more meaningful. So, if we can't do that, I don't think.
Yeah,
we
no,
need
I
it.
think a chart would be great if you can do it, but don't worry about it if you can't.
Yeah, what I would say almost too would be something, if you got enough data to show over a period of time that Newmarket the town had already taken actions to save energy, and you could generally show just a graph showing Newmarket already has implemented changes that have saved energy over time, and here's a graph showing the last 5 years. That sort of shows that the town already has the intent to do this, and all we're doing in the master plan is saying, continue to follow that model of trying to use less energy and save more, And here's some, I think the point is made then, we can do it, and we are doing it, which makes it more real to people when they look at the master plan. It's not just sort of aspirational, it's something you can actually show that's been done.
We know that's in fact true.
I think it is true,
For the
yeah.
water
I think
department.
Joe's,
Let's pop down to this other section
yeah.
Okay, so this, in section 4, energy efficiency and conservation focuses on blah, 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 blah. But then we added in this section, which maybe should go somewhere else, but as an example of potential energy efficiencies that can be determined with simple audits. Oh, yeah, okay, this section does talk about you should do audits or whatever. So as an example of potential energy efficiencies that could determine with simple audits, in 2021, the Newmarket Environmental Services Water and Wastewater Department undertook a study of electric usage and identified potential efficiencies resulting in potential electric energy savings of 16% annually for the water systems, 8% annually for wastewater systems, and a potential annual savings of roughly $20,000 annually. And then below we've got the charts that they used. I don't know, would it make sense to take this and include that up in here?
I think so. And you could just say, here's an example of the town taking action to reduce energy use successfully. I mean, again, I don't think you have to, you can keep it pretty short and simple. I don't think you have to go into too much detail again, because remember, this is something that might get looked at every 5 years, so you just want to show general trends and general actions that have been taken, not, you don't have to get super specific.
Do this right here. This is going to be, I'll have to make a clean version of this.
But that's great, Joe. It fits really nicely under that heading,
I'm sorry, what?
I just think it does make more sense up there. And
I agree, I think
it's great to have that example.
Okay. So, how do we, okay. Energy improvements will save taxpayer dollars, will create a model of business and residents to adopt. Example of,
Yeah, I think that's fine. You can leave all that there. That shows you your example, and then there's the findings below.
at some point in time, we'll make a clean version of this, and we'll all take a second pass through it. Yeah, I feel better about that. That makes a little bit more sense. So we all okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
The next section is a new one, energy profile for Newmarket vehicles. Okay, I made all this up. So feel free to.
You're so good, Joe.
The growing available of electric vehicles provides a significant opportunity to move away from vehicles that utilize fossil fuels. Okay, so vehicles use vehicle, but the chart below shows the current status of electric and hybrid vehicles compared to all vehicles as of calendar year 2022. And then we did get some stuff from the town clerk's office on how many vehicles that were registered in Newmarket, how many are known electric, and they don't collect information on the car registrations, that this is an electric car versus a hybrid versus a fossil fuel, but they don't do that right now. So what we did is we said, well, for electric vehicles, how many Teslas are there? And for the hybrids, how many Prius are there? Okay, so I don't. So anyway, the known electric count is a count of Tesla registered vehicles, and the known hybrid count is a count of Prius vehicles. There are likely more all electric and known hybrid vehicles, but as of year ending 220, the additional vehicle count would not likely have a significant impact on the overall percentages.
I was amazed when I read that there's very few of either one.
I might wonder if the hybrid count would be higher now because so many cars are hybrid. Like my truck is technically hybrid, and when I registered it, she was like, "Oh, it's the hybrid." I was like, "Whoa, do you know that about my truck?" So I wonder if it would be higher because so many are just automatically hybrid.
Oh, yeah, there's quite a few Hondas and so forth been around for years. It will be higher, I think, but
Yeah.
How did they know it was
significantly
hybrid?
higher, who
By the
knows?
model?
Yeah, by the model. She pulled up the truck model I had, and she said, "Oh, it's the hybrid one."
Sure.
Because they said that, we don't keep that, we don't currently capture that, whether it's
Yeah.
electric or.
It depends on how much work somebody wants to put into it to account a few more,
Possibly.
you know?
Yeah, because then you'd have to know each model that's a
That's
hybrid
right.
and look up
Yeah.
how many of that model is in the
That's right.
channel, which would be a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she said. I mean, if you can tell me the model, I can do that.
Yeah.
So
But,
we just
I mean,
said,
it really wouldn't be, so there's over 17,000 total registered vehicles. So do they have that in a spreadsheet? I mean, you could just do some like Excel
It's all
sorting.
computerized upstairs. When you go to register your car, they send out that, when your car
Yeah.
registration comes up. This is how many cars were actually registered in Newmarket
Right.
for that year.
That's
And, a lot of
amazing
people have two
compared to
cars.
the population.
Sometimes even more.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say we don't need those numbers in there. I think you could make just a general statement about a couple of things you could put for electric vehicles. That there's, like you said, there's a growing availability of electric vehicles. Actually, what the town has done is that we have electric charging stations in our town. So that's something you could specifically point to as far as the town is already, we have 3? Or do we have
We have 3.
3?
that
So
I'm
the
aware of.
town has 3 active chargers for electric vehicles. That's something we should probably be thinking about more than how many registered cars are, because that's where the planning part of it comes in. Should the town, maybe the encouragement should be the town should continue to look at the demand for charging for people that live in the town or visit the town who don't have access to a private charger, right? Because most people charge their electric cars at home. They don't charge them at public chargers. But the ones here are busy.
Yeah.
They are busy a lot. There's a lot of people using them.
I said the library one, and down the water.
Yeah, I don't know about the water. I agree. The one at the library is busier. But there's also one in the mill buildings
Right.
that they have for those people that live there that's private, right? Yeah.
I believe it's open to anybody. I don't
Oh,
think
is it?
that-
You
yeah.
could just have an account.
I wonder.
You're right, the figures are not.
I knew they were building a new building in town that they're talking about putting chargers there too. Up
I
on Bennett
personally
Way.
know several people who have EVs that are not Teslas.
Is another
But I think,
important piece
I
of
think
this.
your point is well taken. I
Sorry,
believe
Bill.
that something along the lines of the
Talking
town
about-
should consider putting in more charging stations to encourage citizens to purchase EVs. Because there's an advantage to having a charging station in that you're not paying the electric bill at home. So, the town could encourage the purchase of more EVs by installing more charging stations.
I like that idea. Sarah?
Well, I just wonder if, talking about energy and vehicles, shouldn't we be discussing our own fleet? Like, how many, there are vehicles, the police station, the fire department are public work vehicles? Are we
Yeah,
are there any
part
plans
of
to
it. Should be
transition some of that fleet? I mean, like UNH is always talking about, like, we're converting our buses to bio or electric, and like that's something that we have control over and should take some, in the spirit of modeling good practices. Is there any conversation around any of that?
The police have one hybrid,
I thought so, yeah.
and maintenance and everything has been very good on it, so
Yep.
they're currently on a waiting list to get more hybrid vehicles.
I think that's a cool thing to celebrate. And
For
Yeah, that's
fire and
worth
rescue,
mentioning.
doesn't make sense for them to
yep,
It's harder for the larger.
be electric.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
Other
good to
town
highlight
vehicles,
that
the
too.
post office. I mean, I guess it's not Newmarket specific.
Yeah,
but
Newmarket,
federal.
Newmarket's
USPS.
disadvantage is it's a small town, so it's not buying like at the large
Yeah.
fleet size that like states or UNH or the post office are.
Yeah.
It's buying, it buys like one vehicle maybe a year
Mhm.
because it's super expensive for the town. Like a police cruiser is like over $100,000 to buy. So it's not like we spend a lot of money on vehicles every year. We try and get as much.
Life out of them.
But I mean, eventually, you would think when it makes economic sense, right? When the town can say we will save money if we do it this way, that's when they'll do it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
This is just a question, doesn't really have directly to do with this. Has Newmarket considered teaming up with other towns to be able to buy in volume and get things cheaper?
That would be a question for Steve as town manager. I don't know how they do procurement.
What they're moving towards, this is kind of like outside what we're doing here, but what they're moving towards is they're actually doing lease to buy.
Yep.
So they enter an agreement to lease it, and the lease goes towards purchase. It's cheaper than, or better than doing a capital reserve where they put money away year after year after year after year, and then make a big purchase. And it's also better than just going out and spending
Good. So
$1 million
yeah,
for
so they've got some solutions going. That's good.
And maybe part of what we capture here, Joe, is that that's data that we want going forward. That we ask that when at the town when you register your vehicle, that they add a column to their spreadsheet. I don't know if it's that simple or not to capture like if it's a hybrid or because clearly they know at time of registration. And then if we had that data going forward, we could report changes.
I don't know if that's a state thing or something that's in their control.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
It's probably coming. Before this decade's out,
Yeah, it's got.
if you own an electric car, you're going to be paying more to register your car because they don't pay a gas tax, which is how we pay the roads. So it's coming.
Yeah.
Don't worry. In the near future,
Yeah.
all the electric cars will be counted very closely because they'll probably be paying twice
Yeah.
as much, if not more than that. So I think that'll take care of itself as far as, I mean, you put something in there. I think that the percentage is at 6% countrywide, and that's more than doubled in like 2 years, I think. So, I mean, if we just go on basic assumption that the market will continue to grow, we should assume that the town should, again, be investing in infrastructure that supports electric vehicles. I think that's the biggest thing. And it'll help our businesses, right? If people come here with electric cars and they know they can charge, then they'll come here and go out to eat, and they'll come here to go shopping, and they'll want to live here because it's supported.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, how do you want to word this? As a leader, the growing availability of electric vehicles provides a significant opportunity to move away from vehicles that utilize fossil fuel. As of 2022, the town maintained 3 electric vehicle charging stations. As a leader, the town should invest in the infrastructure to.
They
There's
should
some more charging
continue to
stations.
invest.
Tell it like it is. That's what his infrastructure is, it's charging stations.
And infrastructure
Well,
that supports.
First of all, should we say as a leader? Should something else be said?
Yeah, just the town should invest, the town could encourage citizens to.
Yeah, it should continue to invest in the infrastructure
Yeah,
that supports electric vehicles.
I suppose.
I mean, there's a lot, so much tied up in it. I don't actually know that they're going to like that statement about picking. We know it's better to not use vehicles with fossil fuels, but there could be some strong feelings about that because there's businesses in town that specifically cater to vehicles with fossil fuels, right? All our mechanics currently fix cars that go on fossil fuels. So they just don't be surprised that that gets struck out of there because they probably don't want us to be perceived as picking winners and losers. Just the market drives this, right? We're not
Writing's on the wall.
I know, exactly. People will make the choice because it's in their economic benefit, not only for environmental reasons, but I just can sense already that there will be a strong feeling about picking one over the other, if you know what I mean.
Maintenance too, so
Yeah, so
doesn't have them in garages.
But continuing to invest in the infrastructure or whatever. And
that makes sense.
We're not saying, don't
No.
have gas vehicles, just.
No, I'm talking
Continue to
about
encourage
where
it.
we say to move away from vehicles that utilize fossil fuels.
Oh.
That's all I'm thinking. That will probably get struck, just because it sounds like we're choosing one or the other. Again, I'm not saying that's not something that people shouldn't do. I'm just saying, in a
Put it
document like this,
positively,
they may not want us to pick winners and losers.
agree.
I think that's good. Like, I hear what you're saying, and I think
Yeah,
I
I
take
think
your
that's right.
perspective, but I feel like if they want to strike it, it's on them.
Okay,
It's
all right.
the spirit of this group and the responsibility of this group to be a bit aspirational and put something forward-looking there.
Right.
And if they want it on, they want to
Well,
strike it. That's on them.
But you can say encourage the
Do you know what I
purchase
mean?
of, rather than move away from gas. You can say encourage the
Yes,
purchase
yeah,
of EVs.
yeah.
There's a
And get away from the move
reduced
away from-
dependency.
Well, I like the first part about it. It's like we're just taking. The reason we put those chargers in, right, is because it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to be a town that's friendly to electric vehicle drivers. Whether you're just coming to visit for the day or you live here, you're welcome here because we've got chargers. We've got the infrastructure for you to visit. So you don't have to worry about not driving to Newmarket. I like that because it's sort of, it's the carrot more than the stick, which
Yeah.
is
Framing
I'm
it
always more in
positive.
favor of. Yeah,
Instead of it's an addition instead of a reduction.
exactly.
How long does it take to charge one?
It depends on the vehicle, and it depends on the charger.
What's
So
the question?
the top ones charge quickly. The Teslas on a Tesla charger charge a lot quicker than the non-Tesla charger and other vehicles. They just don't charge as quickly.
But you're not talking about public
But it's
charging stations.
hours.
That's what we're
Right.
talking about. We're talking about public charging stations. Yeah,
Or you have some specific for Teslas?
6 hours?
yeah, they charge faster.
Or you have specific charging stations
Yeah.
for Teslas?
Yeah, they have their own proprietary charging system.
So the library one
But
doesn't
in the
work,
same-
for example?
For a Tesla,
Yeah.
no, they have adapters that you could use. But if you own it's a side conversation.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's a
no, I know
whole
how
like
EVs
yeah.
work, and the batteries work and all that. So yeah, but
ju-
they're kind of standard what they put in at public places. I think,
Right.
And they're quite costly. They're not quite as fancy as a Tesla owner with his specially wired box and so forth at home might have, but they're pretty good and they're quite expensive to install, I think.
So I don't know if we were getting away from, but to me, this chapter was to, it's conceived to increase the understanding of current energy consumption and provide guidance required to reduce dependency of non-renewable fuels. But the key to me is understand the current energy consumption. So that's what, these are supposed to be profiles of what
Okay.
Newmarket looks like.
Also, I think as a takeaway, like highlighting the current state of how many how many current charging stations we have. That's a decent data point to include in
Any
there. That
statement
still
says we have 3,
aligns
we
with
should
the
try to get,
model.
we should try to make more.
What if, could we expand on that point and talk about their usage? Do we have those statistics? Like how, there must be some data, like the library charging station, how many hours is it
That's a good
in
question.
use?
Because every time I go to the library, almost every time there's somebody.
Yeah,
No,
playing,
there's no,
as you know.
Nobody's
It's
tracking that.
cheaper to just stick the thing in there and pay the bill as opposed to.
Well, we could know what the bill is and know how many kilowatt hours we're paying for, and I mean, if we're trying to capture like the current landscape of usage, so that we could encourage growth, that's a data point, right?
Yeah, it's a great deal because it's free.
Yeah. And the thing is, of course, there's pushback on that because a lot of people are like, "Why? Nobody pays for my gas. Why should my tax dollar payers pay for your?" And I think that's a interesting argument. But there are ways where towns can provide charging stations without footing the bill. You can put in a charger that people have to swipe their card for, and those get used. And people, like someone driving through town, wants to have dinner here,
Right.
but needs
Eventually,
the infrastructure.
I think there will be those chargers just because
Yeah.
they'll be kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
And like I said, at least one, we know of one resident or one apartment building that has one, and I think another apartment building's putting in. Both of those are swipe.
Swipe.
Yeah, you got to pay
Yeah.
to play there.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Yeah, the library one gives you a free tank of gas, essentially. It's
Yeah.
pretty nice of Newmarket.
But not only that, you have to pay for the electricity. When they pay for like wireless connection.
Uh-huh.
That,
Like a
and you have
service
to have
fee.
like a monthly fee for
Mm-hmm.
just the infrastructure for doing all that.
Yeah.
We looked at it at a condo association.
Well.
I want to make a note that we have about 5 minutes left until 8 o'clock. So this might be a good place for.
Yeah, I heard that last paragraph. If we want to finish up there, I was just thinking about that move away wording. If you change it to, I don't know if you like the sound of like providing choice to move to an alternative choice, or providing a greater choice of using using renewable sources. Yeah, so you don't even have to mention fossil fuels moving away. You could say providing a opportunity for residents to make a choice of something, that word, rather than move away, making a choice.
You could say the growing availability of electric vehicles provides a significant opportunity to offer drivers choices as to the type of vehicle that they purchase.
Offers drivers alternatives to fossil fuels.
And there's less of a chance of maybe getting struck out of that. Still get a part of our point across.
Yeah. Say it again one more time for Joe's benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm
you
a-
get
I'm a
opportunity
one-finger
to
type
offer drivers the choice. How would
Eliminate.
you word it?
Offer drivers choices with regard to the vehicles they purchase and utilize.
I was trying to not say vehicles again in the same sentence, and just mention their energy, that's like how they get their energy.
Yeah, and you don't even need significant, I don't think. You can if you want it. Provides an opportunity to offer drivers choices.
To how they fuel their car.
Sure.
Something like that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do
Or if there's wording we already used, if that was going up.
non-renewable fuels.
Choices to reduce their dependence on non-renewable.
To offer drivers the choice to reduce their dependence.
Oh, I like that. Just one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's good.
Offer drive, it would be
Don't
Language.
Reduce reliance on fossil fuels.
offer drivers, so it would be the choice, instead of
The one that
choices.
you just.
The choice. So go over to the choice.
What did you just cross out?
Oh yeah. To reduce, and then what would be their dependence? It would be their dependence
reduce their dependence?
Yeah.
Growing availability of electric vehicles provides a significant opportunity to offer drivers the opportunity to reduce their dependence on non-renewable fuels.
So we have opportunity twice there now. Or so, maybe it should be to enable drivers to reduce their dependence on non-renewable fuels.
What if you just go right from the growing availability of electric vehicles provides drivers the opportunity to
Oh,
reduce?
Yeah, even better.
So just hack that.
See,
Go right from provides to drivers. Keep going. Get rid of all the way to
Just-
a significant.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're in the right. Yeah.
provide
The
what?
growing availability of electric vehicles provides drivers the opportunity to reduce their dependence on non-renewable fuels. We're
There
sort
you
of
go.
stating the
Perfect.
obvious, and then the next sentence is like, and like here's why it's relevant in Newmarket. As of 2022, the town maintained 3 electric vehicle charging stations. As a leader, the town should continue to invest in this infrastructure.
Or it could be just in this infrastructure.
Yeah, you could just end there in the infrastructure. Though I
Yeah.
think sort of a why.
In
I
this-
like capturing what
You don't
Patrick
even
was
need it to
saying
be
that
used.
reminds people of like how Newmarket is a place to live and a place to visit, and sort of like so that's why we want to provide the infrastructure. I feel like we
could
need
say-
a little bit of a why.
You could
for-
say
Well, you just had
the
it.
town should continue to invest in the infrastructure to
You don't
Um,
need that, just to invest in this infrastructure, it's obviously the infrastructure is charging stations.
to appeal to current and future generations. Why?
Why
To,
Why?
to encourage future generations?
You're going
To
on.
appeal to current and
You're not going to
future.
back me up?
no?
Wait, I really don't understand why you don't like that.
I don't know. I don't have a good reason.
To appeal
Oh,
to.
okay.
Maybe
To
you should
appeal
just
to-
end with infrastructure.
Sure, we can
Yeah,
just
you
end
can
with
just end
it.
there. I just feel like
Just back me.
No, I really just don't get it.
Say that again then.
Just to appeal to current and future generations.
Must be getting late.
I liked
Appeal.
it. I liked it, Joe. I'm surprised you don't, Joe. I don't mean to feel like you're not getting backed up because you're
No, I'm totally open to it being terrible. I just I just didn't know why.
As a
Cur-
leader,
I
the
like
town
to
should
current
continue to
and
invest in
future.
to appeal
I don't know, it
No,
appeals to me,
just
I'm a
future.
long
No,
way from a
current
future
and
generation.
current and future.
appeal to
Everybody is basically what I'm saying.
I mean, I feel like Joe, I can kind of like I know it has a tone, right? I was thinking more saying to appeal to
Local and greater community.
current and
I don't
future
really think we need
residents
that.
is maybe more,
Yeah,
but
generation.
Okay.
Gener-
Beyond that though too, right?
Yeah.
To appeal to-
yeah.
I think you can eliminate the whole appeal to stuff entirely.
I don't
You could take
I don't like the
one
term
Yeah. But
generations, current and future generations.
Okay, we could do
But-
residents.
Um,
I'm
as a leader,
literally
the
not
town should
attached to it
continue
at
to
all.
invest in the
you know,
infrastructure
like,
to
why am I talking so much? I'm
No.
sorry,
Appeal
like,
to
driving
residents
to
and
work out. Okay,
visitors.
I'm out.
Sure, that works too.
Or customers, or whatever you want to call the people that come into the town to use services.
I also want to acknowledge that we're at time, so let's wrap this up and then we can.
You wanna finish the thought?
Yeah, totally.
I don't think it's important to haggle over, though. I think we can leave it.
Yeah,
And
it's-
it gets across the point again.
It's contentious. We can.
It's
I would
just
put a
we're
period after
yeah.
infrastructure and call
You
it good and
could
go.
you could just end it at
Yeah.
infrastructure and
Let's
still
do that.
saying
Let's just end it at infrastructure.
The town should continue to invest in the
In this
infrastructure.
infrastructure.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this
Yes.
infrastructure.
No to appeal, no nothing, just
Perfect.
period after infrastructure.
How about appeal to?
No,
As a leader, the town should continue to invest in the infrastructure.
period.
hear it this way, Joe. As a leader, the town should
preposition.
continue to invest in this infrastructure.
No,
Yeah.
Punto.
period. No to,
We're out.
I'll come
no
up with some
appeal,
stuff that's-
no
Yeah.
generations.
Because appeal is kind of
Got some
funny.
ideas.
How about as a leader, the town should continue to invest in the infrastructure to encourage continued
Support
Patronage
electric
of Earth.
to encourage future generations.
Why? Why do you need the two at all?
We don't. We can just get rid of it if it's proving too
No,
challenging.
I don't get the appeal of the two appeal.
I feel like if it feels
Maybe it's just
unsettled, it
getting
has
late.
to percolate a little
Yeah.
bit. So I think you either like run a line through it and
Revisit.
and
later.
revisit.
what
Yeah.
happens.
I know I appreciate your doggedness and wanting to solve it, but I don't know that we're gonna crack the code.
red means.
Oh.
Really intense.
Meaning lots of discussion.
All right.
Well, we didn't really get very far.
That's okay. Still made progress though.
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. All right. So let's bookmark at section 4.
Yep.
We're gonna
So
pick up.
we completed
pick up
section
next time.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we finished a
Halfway
section
through.
at a time. We only
Yeah.
got like
Sure.
6 sections in here.
Yeah.
I think it was good, and I think the changes of moving what you did up to section 3, Joe, is a big improvement.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, that was fine for this section.
Okay. Thank you.
The other suggestion I'll just make going forward on this, which I think we've got already, is if people read it beforehand, make your notes, and then if there's no notes on a section, we accept it as is. So if you don't comment on something and you don't put anything down before the meeting, because when we wrote, like, I'll just say, for instance, the planning board just wrote that ADU ordinance, right? If we had to go through it line by line at every meeting, we never would have gotten it done. We had to agree to, highlight the parts that we wanted to discuss, and then everything else just stayed as is. So,
Yeah, but
That's very sensible. Where's the
that's
fun in
nice,
that,
but
though?
people don't do the homework. So it's,
well, then, but I mean, I think, I don't know. I don't think you're that far. So I think if people don't have any comments, then we should just leave it as is. I mean, I don't think it's that far from being ready to hand
Oh,
over.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's just
I
minus.
think that's reasonable too.
And
You're right. Comment now or forever hold your peace.
exactly.
okay, well,
I mean, Sarah put a lot of comments in. I can see that, which is good.
Then we'll have
And
something
another thing.
It'll take us just as
I
long
love
to go
it.
through the comments.
And if you
great.
do your homework, you'll get more input. So
Yeah,
there's your incentive.
Yeah, it does.
If you feel strongly about this, get involved in it.
it does offer an incentive.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's great. And thank you, Joe, for all of the work. that you-
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
think
hard
you've
to
done a
line
great job,
edit.
Joe. I think this
Really?
is like 95%
Yeah.
Oh, I
awesome.
think so.
I don't.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to haggle over the last 5% too
Right.
much.
Exactly.
Well, that happens.
it's always the way. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keeping the vision of how it informs
Yeah.
the planning board, because that's the piece I lose sight of when I am making a lot of comments. I'm like, oh, we got to get this right, but it's a piece of a bigger puzzle.
We keep wanting to add comments to sell them.
Just want to make sure it's like a document that
Facts.
everybody agrees with. As
Yeah.
opposed to it goes out and then say, oh, well, I don't like that. I don't like that.
Well, but like Patrick's saying, if you establish that this is our norms, this is the way that we operate, and then people don't get to complain afterwards. So I think that makes sense. Okay, so conclude the working session. Is there any other business that anyone feels we need to address before we wrap up?
1, 2, 3, 4. So our next meeting is April 26th. For those of you that won't be here, I do appreciate everything you guys have done. It's been a good learning year for me. Stick around and at least see what happens with community power. I think
Absolutely.
we're getting there with community power.
Yeah. It's great progress.
So WMUR had a good article on it.
Yeah.
Today's my granddaughter's 10th birthday, and April 26th is my son's birthday.
So energy and environment should be right in your mind, right?
Yes. Speaking of future generations.
All right. Thank you all so much for making time. We'll
I had a
this
quick
meeting.
question. At the public forum, as a resident, can I speak up and support it, or just be quiet, or?
No, the public forum is when they'll present stuff, and it's up to you, the community to voice their concerns or
Pleasure.
pleasure or whatever. Yeah.
You're just not allowed to speak against it.
Got
As a
it.
former member,
Got it, got it.
technically, that's,
We will have chairs set up and lights on.
yeah.
So it'll be presentation, open to then public comment period where people can either ask questions or just make a comment.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
And actually,
That's on the 12th, right?
the way we've done it in the past, so they can ask questions as it's being presented.
Okay.
The 29th
The
is the
29th
first
is
one.
the first one, March 29th. That's the
Yeah,
one you're away.
yeah.
And
The April
then
one is,
Is
slated
either
to be the
either
5th
the 5th
right
or
now.
the 5th
or
or the
the
12th. The 12th is the back.
okay. I crossed out 5th.
It's TBD.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, and so call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Turn off
Hope you
the
didn't
mic.
waste your time.